welcome to Sports Med Savvy. We are your medical team keeping you fit and in the game. I'm Dr. Brandy Waite, fitness and sports medicine rehab specialist.
And I'm Dr. Cassandra Lee, sports orthopedic surgeon.
I'm Dr. Melita Moore, team sports and rehab specialist.
And bringing up the rear, I'm
That's what
Dr.
she
Tish Radford, general orthopedic surgeon. We are bringing you the latest in sports injuries and active lifestyle tips.
I bet your doctor has never danced on Soul Train.
I fixed a broken ankle in the middle of the Sahara Desert with a cardboard box and duct tape. Take that, MacGyver.
I'm one of the first African-American female physicians in the NBA. I pop mad bottles, I smoke mad cigars, and I enjoy a nice, smooth glass of scotch. Pow!
So I have a saying that I say to my teenage patients especially, you can bitch or you can do what you want, but you may not do both. I am one of less than 100 African-American female orthopedic surgeons in the country. What's up with these concussions, ACL tears, and shoulder dislocations?
Don't have any idea how this is going to affect your fantasy team lineup?
Don't worry about it, we got you covered. We'll break it down for you on who to bench and who's good to go.
So stay tuned, sports fans, for your savvy fantasy forecast.
Going down.
No time to work out? I totally get it. But here's what I tell my busy patients and what I actually do myself. If you can mix in a few 2 to 3 minute mini workouts throughout the day, it's definitely better than no workout at all. In the morning, while brushing your teeth, you can do squats the entire time. Throughout the day, while waiting for something in the microwave or during TV commercials, you can do plank, you can run in place, or do push-ups. And last thing before getting in bed, hit the floor and do ab crunches until you fatigue. Done, no more excuses.
Barely out of the NFL draft and we already have 2 rookies with ACL tears. Did you know that women are at 4 times more risk for ACL tears compared to guys doing the same activity? As a former volleyball player, I can attest to that. My team had mostly ACL tears. Why? Because women have wider hips and compared to their narrow knees. Now, although this looks great in jeans or that cute dress that you got, it does not help you with a cutting sport like volleyball. So what does your butt have to do with your ACL? Well, ladies, if you work on your butt strength and your core strength, you don't jiggle as much and you got a straight knee, and that'll help protect your ACL.
Why is Kevin Love out for the entire playoffs, you ask? He tore his labrum when his shoulder was pulled out of the joint or dislocated. The labrum is actually a cartilage rim that deepens the shoulder socket, and it helps to keep the joint in place. These injuries rarely heal on their own, and they actually require a stitch to be placed through the bone. Afterwards, it's very important that you go to therapy for 3 to 4 months to work on both motion and strengthening before you can return to your activities. So if Kevin Love will return back to play at the time of his dislocation, he'd be able to play that game. Afterwards, though, he'd be extremely sore and he'd have difficulties with raising his arm and with trying to do anything. And so it'd be very difficult for him to play the next game or even several games after that because of the soreness that sets in with the muscles.
If you've had one concussion where you were knocked out, you can't remember what happened, you're fumbling over your words, that's a pretty significant concussion. Does that mean you can't get back on your surfboard? No, it doesn't. Does that mean you're not going to be able to read what you have to do in school? No, it doesn't. It depends on how many concussions you've had, how close they were together, and actually how severe they were. So if you had one concussion, yes, you blacked out, but you don't always have to black out to have a concussion. That's kind of where people get confused. Oh, I didn't black out, so I didn't have a concussion. That's not true. You don't have to black out to have a concussion. But people recover very, very well if you just had one type of concussion, your symptoms resolved, you're back doing your thing, that's normal. I just think it depends on the severity of those concussions, how close they are together, how bad you were afterwards, to talk about are you going to be able to continue in life to play all the sports that you like to do. So it's not one and done per se.
So Kyle, I see you're wearing a sling today, and actually I think your fingers are a little bit swollen.
Really?
Yeah, actually, probably because you're wearing your sling a little bit too low.
I like to hang it low. You know, it's kind of gangster like that. And while that's great for rap and for everything else going on in the world, for a fracture and for an arm that's swollen, that's actually not a good thing.
Oh.
Dude, if you're about to shred at the skate park, here's what you need to know. Don't forget your brain bucket, or as the old folks call it, a helmet, so you reduce your risk of head injury.
But the biggest problem coming out of this place is a broken wrist. So if you want to stay out of our office, wear a wrist guard.
I recently hurt my hand.
Were you wearing wrist guards?
No.
Do you ever wear wrist guards?
No.
Why are you not going to wear a wrist guard? You already broke your wrist, you have 2 screws in your wrist.
Uncomfortable.
If somebody could create a brace that like fit underneath your glove and was comfortable, do you think you'd use it?
I just prefer not to wear one.
Well, thank you for supporting my kids' college fund, and we'll be seeing you soon in the office.
Have you ever had any injuries out here while I've been playing basketball or any other sport?
Running, I rolled my ankle a few months ago.
Have you seen a doctor for this, Jonathan?
No, not really.
That's where you've gone wrong. However, if you're out here and you're still playing and you're moving around, that's really good if you've had an ankle sprain. Sometimes you can just bounce back from that by taking a little bit of time to rest, or what we call RICE. So rest, ice, compression, and elevation, and that can help to get you back into your game. Speaking of breaking ankles, Jonathan, give me that ball and let me break yours one more time.
We want to help you stay hydrated while you're playing our favorite sport, basketball. To prevent dehydration and cramping, you should drink fluid several hours before tip-off.
Tish, it's just as important to stay hydrated before the game as it is actually during the game. You can do this with a combination of water or sports drinks. So if you want to avoid cramp gate like LeBron James, bottoms up.
Well, team, that's it for today. We are so glad you joined us and hope you make the most of your sports prescription this week.
Stay on your game, and we'll see you next time.
We're out.
We out.
Break it down. Ow. Hey. Oh, yeah.